Manase Katha.
Why do survivors stay in such a violence relationships? Why they need to continue with them?
So, okay, so that's a good question. So that's a good question. Like, that's a question that a lot of people ask, why do survivors stay in this kind of relationship? If it is so bad, then why do people stay? It's a very complex process, right? So the domestic violence situation, even think about it, even a healthy relationship, if tomorrow you have to, maybe the other partner had an extramarital affair, and then you're really hurt, but think about, leaving is not that easy, right? Any relationship, if once we commit to a relationship, leaving is not an easy task, right? But in a in a domestic violence situation, there are other factors that also go into it. First of all, the in a domestic violence situation, the part of, as I said, is power and control. When you want power and control, what do? You actually create dependencies, right? Even if you work, they might take away the job, so you don't have a penny on your hands. They might, if you like, if you're abroad, for example, in any other country, you need credit history to do anything, right? And they may have ruined the credit history. So in they may, all of your friendships and everything, your social life and everything may be dependent on two of you being together, right? And you might be involved in cultural contexts and things, and going to the temple, going to the kovil, going to a church, everything may be, or mosque, everything might be surrounding that family, right? And so it's a very complex situation, and dependency may be far higher created, right? So you, on the other hand, the person might be dependent for financially, they may not work, or even if they work, there may be a lifestyle, right? There is a lifestyle and you're leading a certain lifestyle, and if you leave that, you may not have anything, you may not get anything. A lot of time people stay because of the children. Some believe that it is better for the child, some believe that they are worried. In South Asia, many worry that as somebody who is divorced has a far negative connotation in society, and it will impact the children, especially if they have female children. They might think, I might not be able to marry them off if I am divorced, and the others will view my children as damaged, and
Cultural norms, values, beliefs, yes,
exactly.
has
And
a
so
big
then,
impact on them.
exactly. So they might believe that they are like, they might view them as like, then, they're worried that they will be viewed as damaged goods, that damage kind of that concept. There is that fear,
Yes.
right? And then there is that, that, the dependency, because of isolation and because there's constant psychological, I truly believe that I've not, as a therapist, come across a situation where there is physical abuse without the psychological side, right? I really
Yes,
think that
that's yeah,
everything
that's
starts
true.
with the psychological side. And so there's that constant thing of, you're not good for anybody else. Nobody will accept you. You can't, if you leave me, there's nobody else. Why would anybody like you? And so then you stay on, and then if you're divorced, then everybody will leave, and then they threaten with, if they have children, then they threaten with that also. So that,
How do you explain the concept of trauma bonding?
yes, so that is an aspect of why survivors stay, right? So trauma bonding is a very complex psychological aspect, where there is that bonding, that there is that bonding. They feel the relationship. It's not necessarily love, but it is a, I think it's a very complex survivor mechanism, where psychologically, just like Stockholm syndrome, where psychologically the person actually forms a bond as a survival mechanism. So that when you create that bond, and you create that kind of attachment, and you see the good in them and the bad in them, and you have this attachment, and in many relationships, sometimes the abuse, physical abuse, for example, might be just 5% of their relationship. There might be good things. They may be really
Yes.
good
Yeah.
in terms of they might physically hit you, but they might provide for you, and they may be good to your parents, or they might be really good to your children, for example. So,
Yes.
so many things. And then weighing off that you balance things, and then you form an attachment, and then you might be the survivors may also have denial of, so as a survival mechanism, has a survivor denial of also minimization of the actual physical abuse, right? But I also think that this concept of trauma bonding is very dangerous concept itself, because that can lead to survivor blaming, right? The trauma bonding, this idea is that, oh, they are in love, and that's, the people misunderstand that, oh, it's because of love, and they don't care about their children, they don't care about anything else, they are in love, and so they just want to stay with that person. It's not something simple like that. It is not. It is a survival mechanism. It's a very complex process of creating dependency. And for all of us as humans, for us survival, the survivors know instinctively, um how do you survive in this relationship. They assess whether they accept this as abuse or not. They consciously or subconsciously can assess the danger levels, right? And then within that danger levels, we also need consciously, we kind of consciously, unconsciously, we need to have that kind of minimization of what is happening to be able to live with the person day in and day out. Our memories actually try to wipe out trauma as much as we can for our human survival, right? So that memory, we all forget things, we all try to minimize things, and that is an important aspect of survival. If all of us, if I go through rape tomorrow, and then I every day remember the same thing as it happens, then I am never going to be
Yes.
able to live, right?
Oh,
You need, with
yes.
passage of time, you need to forget, you need to have a different perspective about it, you need to have a different perspective, and you need to have, to be able to live, you need to have a different perspective. And so to live with this person, survivors need to adapt. It is a survival, it's a resiliency trait. And that is, we need to be able to understand that, right?
Yeah.